Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to 999, the first Nonary game. So we are in this central path and this novel portion just keeps going. In the last recording we started like here, I believe, and went for 2 hours to get to here. Basically, I guess Junpei proved that Ace was the guy in charge of the Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Ace thought he killed Snake. Snake wasn't actually killed. Instead, he was apparently drugged and put in the coffin. So we now know who is in the coffin. We also kind of now know the answer and the code to get to this section. So if we can jump to this ending, there is this thought, at least, that I should be able to get this ending, but it really will be a case of basically getting an epiphany or a telepathic idea put into Junpei's head in this storyline that he would be able to actually know the code, because there's kind of no way that the story plays out and you get all the keys necessary to get past this lock to reach this point and get the information that we have here. So as for the story, as it were, Ace turned out to be the bad guy in this timeline. Ace had the gun. He took Lotus. He escaped through a 9-door. We eventually figured out how to escape through the other 9-door, and it took us to an incinerator room, and there was an incinerator, and there was a 9-door in the incinerator. At that point, Snake and Ace fought it out, and the incinerator turned on. One assumes incinerating the number 1 watch. They have learned completely at this point that watches, the bracelets, don't have to be worn to be used, and Snake had an artificial arm, so he could just have removed the number 2 watch at the number 2 bracelet at any point, and he does before he dies in the incinerator. We also found out that the 0 bracelet actually does not input the number 0. Instead, it inputs the number 6, which would be June's number, which would mean that June is probably 0. While all of this was happening and we were messing with the incinerator, June and Santa were left in the large hospital room because June had a fever and was passed out again. And so then Junpei found yet a third elevator to double back, or a second elevator to double back, to escape from the incinerator room without having to go through the chapel and the 2 9-doors in the chapel again. And he ran around looking for Santa and June, and he's just now found June passed out on the floor of the chapel, which really then just puts us in a position where either Santa is going to be 0 because Ace wasn't 0 and 2 wasn't 0, or 0 is just going to be who they're calling the Guy X, who was the fake body that looked like Snake, who had been blown up behind the 3-door. They're calling him Guy X. That might have been 0, or it might have been just another unimportant character. I'm not sure we're really gonna see who 0 is. And it's just been taking so long. It took 5 minutes just to recap what happened, but this just keeps on going and going and going. And one thing I will certainly say is, at least the other endings were much more kind. If you're gonna have alternate endings that have bad endings like this, you really do just need to say, you went down the wrong path, you get murdered, game over, start over again. Don't drag it out. don't make it seem like this is going to be the good ending. If this somehow is the good ending, that would be really ridiculous and questionable about this lock here. But yeah, I don't know. Well, let's just keep going. So June's face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight into Junpei but saw nothing. Trembling, Junpei wrapped his arm around her back. By the way, they have probably just minutes until the ship sinks. Like, honestly, I think the ship has already started to sink, and they are just running out of time left and right. And they're calling June Kane at this point. He's given up on the code name. She was cold, very cold. Wouldn't it be weird if she is getting the Ice 9 in her blood and freezing? But that storyline wouldn't even track in this flow because none of the ancient Egyptian priestess curse was even discussed in this path, nor was the Ice 9 discussed in this path.
Oh man, Kane, what the hell happened to you? You feel...
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Let's just try and get through all of this.
I might not make it.
She's cold now. She's had a fever up until this point. It's just really, really hard to focus and care about the events that are happening right now, considering just so much has happened. It's just drained the amount of emotional energy I would have been able to put into this storyline, because there's just so many people and so many plot lines and so much dialogue. It's just way too much.
Thank you so much.
As said in the last recording, the best way I think you could fix this game and improve upon it would have been to have an editor take an axe to it and get it down to at least half, if not a third, the length in each playthrough.
Really happy.
Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, alright, Kane?
Jumpy, did you know? You meant a lot to me when we were kids.
This is the same dialogue, by the way, of her, that she said when she was dying in your hands in the submarine ending.
I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
I still don't really know why June and Junpei were in this Nonary game. They seem to have absolutely no connection to anybody else. It almost makes it feel like the character we're playing as is actually Zero, and he brought in this girl, Kane, June, as a way of just distracting people from realizing that he had no association with any of the other group either. And I guess you could say vice versa. It could be that June is Zero and she brought in Junpei as a distraction. But every time June dies in Junpei's hands, it's always a sad story. So it really just feels like the writer felt a need to have this happen. So Zero just jumps in over the radio, and he has been apparently watching people, or he at least had the capability to watch people over cameras, because we saw that there were cameras in the captain's quarters. There's a crack from the static from above his head, and a voice spoke. Zero.
You son of a bitch!
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting.
What the hell are you talking about?
Hmm. Is this gonna be the revelation that he could listen in to everybody through the bracelets? I mean, why wouldn't you be able to do that? These bracelets do seem to be fairly high technology and custom made. Hmm. Hmm.
No. No, it hasn't. I'm not gonna let it end yet.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get out of here with Connie.
How? So I wonder if the question was that Santa and Lotus and 7 added together would have been 9. So those 3 may have decided to leave through the 9-door incinerator, leaving you behind.
Why?
Interesting. He's just straight up telling you in the game you chose the wrong path.
The wrong path?
Hmm. So we have fourth wall breaking now all of a sudden. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it kind of feels like the player, not Junpei, but me, the player, is 0. Whereas there's shadow, there is light. When there's an absence of light, there is no shadow, so it goes. I don't know if that's just a localization translation or if that's supposed to be a hint to something.
What are you talking about?
Hmm. Hmm.
I told you! I am not gonna lose!
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. 0 has lost. Interesting.
What?
Jubin didn't have time to ponder what that meant before he heard the door slam behind him. He spun around. There was no one there. Was it 0?
Connie, wait here. I'll be right back, I promise.
Hmm. She managed a single nod. It almost feels like 0 might have some like invisibility technology or something at this point. Hmm. So he's now chasing after Ghost pretty much.
Damn it. Where are you? It doesn't matter. I need to get Connie out first.
Hmm. And now she's gone.
Connie.
See, it almost feels like it's a simulation. Hmm.
Oh God. No. No.
Or a dream, or something.
Where is she?
Hmm.
Connie.
Hmm.
Connie. Connie.
Hmm.
Connie.
Hmm. Hmm. So he's screaming, screaming, screaming. There's nothing, no answer. His voice faded away, and all that remained was cold, unfeeling silence. That's when he noticed it.
Huh?
A strange smell. One he'd smelled before.
This
is. So he's just gonna be gassed.
white smoke.
Hmm. 9 seconds later, Junpei mind winked out. Hmm. So we get the credits again. And yeah, let's go ahead and skip and see. This one is the end, or is it? And yeah, it seems like we'll probably save again. Are we gonna get? It says seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. April 4th, 1912. Ordain. See, it's almost like showing trailers. Now it is time. Let our game begin. It's not asking me to save. Yes. And we will just save over this one. And so we now have the safe ending. And this gave us a key that unlocked this one. So now is kind of a bad time to do this because you probably should just jump this, but I'm going to see if we can go all skip and then see if we can get to a menu, and then I'm gonna pause the recording and then I'll be right back. And this might,
What's that sound?
see, all skip. It's a long time before you can actually just get into the game, even though it wants you to press A to go through all the dialogue and stuff. So I guess at the beginning you did try and push the buttons on the side of the bracelet, and then you just never did again. Yeah, and you have to get all the way back to this point. And then what we'll try to do is we'll try to skip to the end. And if we aren't able to do that, we'll try and skip as much as possible. But I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. So let's just see now. Ideally, the way this looks, like all these keys are unlocked. So my only thought here is that we're going to just try and jump down this way. Nothing else is unlocked on the flow. Just this master key and this unlocked coffin. And it does feel like if I am going to have to play through all of this yet again, that would really suck. Certainly, but yeah, we probably would also have a different story. It does seem like things just change. The 3 left behind. Let's just jump to it. And let's see what happens. So we'll go from adventure screen to novel screen. We have Clover here, and 7, and Junpei, which would be 4 plus 7 plus 5, which then would be 16, which would be a digital root of 7. If we open this coffin, Snake is in there. That makes a group of 4. That means we all get through it. In this plot line, in this path, and it seems like we've done it too. Like it seems like we didn't have to play through the game. Yeah, we just jumped, and you can see it just jumped to the path that would have gotten me to that point, all on the left. But we still have the key and the coffin unlocked. There's really no reason why we would have that knowledge, though, because we didn't go back to Clover and find her dead. Thus, we didn't find a piece of paper that she would have found in the captain's quarters. We were in the captain's quarters in the sequence, and we didn't find it either. So there actually is no real reason why we should be able to get this good ending, other than the idea that each of these playthroughs have somehow been changing the story after you get a specific ending for other playthroughs, or at least a couple of them. It could very well be that the only playthroughs that actually changed were like this path and this path where it splits off, and that this ending and this ending and the submarine ending were always the same and nothing changes there. We still have no clue who Zero is, and I would be willing to bet that we don't find out, even on a good ending. And we still don't really know what the whole Egyptian priestess storyline had to do with anything, or what any of the Ice 9 concept really had too much to do with anything, other than the morphic fields potentially putting the code in your head, which is a long code, by the way. If we get through this section and through the 9 door, we still need to go beat up Santa, who has a gun, and defeat him, or we're gonna find that Santa with June and Santa and June and the Zero watch would have escaped, or was it actually Lotus and Ace and Santa and June that all went together as a group of 4? If that is the case, then you kind of also have to assume that Ace at some point is going to betray Santa, and they're going to fight each other and potentially kill each other. But then that makes a problem also. So you kind of hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, so let's just see what happens and if this works. Otherwise, we're going to have to marathon this. So we're at a 50-50% chance here where this episode could be really short, or this could go really long. Clover looked down at her hand and traced her finger with faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven showed his arms in front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. This is not really a great point to jump in. There should, the one excuse for so much recapping of what just happened only makes sense if every time you jump to a different section in the flow, that's the point where you get a recap. Here I did not get that, so as far as I recall, like, Santa just took June, and I don't know if he took Ace and Lotus also, or if Ace and Lotus are somewhere else, or escaped on their own with some other 9 door, like, or if they're actually dead somewhere, even. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. This is, I guess, also the only ending that you have a slight chance of Clover not ending up having something way worse than just thinking her brother is dead happen to her. Stood in front of it and looked at the red. So it just says engaged. Move to a smaller door. It should say vacant. But without Snake, they can't get through the door. And even if they had the 0 watch, we now know that the 0 watch equals 6. So it doesn't even help you at that point get to a digital root of 9. Yeah.
June.
So we're trying to just skip through all this without reading out loud.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
And so you get the pounding. The noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't very mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and Seven looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet.
Clover motioned to Seven to be quiet. She put one finger over her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. Yeah, there's a gunshot. I guess it's important to note that there was 5 bullets in the gun, I guess. Not 6. I feel like in the other path there were 5 bullets. Yeah. Because I don't think Ace ever shot the gun before he said he had 5 bullets. Which would mean there would be 4 bullets left in Santa's gun.
Where is it coming from? Could it be?
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
Now, it is totally possible in this, I suppose it's worth mentioning, it's totally possible that if I were to replay the whole game from the beginning, going down this path, things very well might be different. Seems like almost every time we played the game, something was different once we started doing the same things twice. How much actual difference there is questionable though, and it does open up the door that you potentially would have to delete your save file and start a whole new save file to see what the true first path of each branching choice actually is before you start seeing an ending that I imagine the endings are the things that are triggering different levels of conversation and different conversations to pop up.
You're right.
Let's open it.
So they're gonna brute force it
But how?
What are those
again.
muscles for show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try.
And so the two of them still try, and Clover doesn't try to help at all.
Damn it.
Man, it won't even budge.
So here's the question. There's some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
Not another one.
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
Duh.
I think so.
And him pounding 5 times is just them reusing the audio, it seems like.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out. And now.
I know that. But how?
Now it'd be surprising if it turns out it's not Snake in here.
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
Unfortunately, they did not seem to find anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews. 7 investigated the desks, but they turned up nothing.
There's nothing here.
Not making this easy, are they?
Sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room. See, it'd be funny if
The passcode.
Junpei
What
actually...
am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
The world blinked. That's different. Suddenly there was a voice inside of Junpei's head So is Junpei Zero really from a different world, or are all of the characters perhaps getting telepathic images from other people playing a different Nonary game somewhere else, or are they all clones? Did every single ending we've seen actually happen to like clones of these people? So yeah, suddenly there's a voice inside Junpei's head. That's how we're gonna get it. Truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. Now the truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
Wait, what? What the hell was that? That voice?
Junpei was utterly and completely baffled. See, this would be funny if Zero was actually trying to telepathically send the answers to people, and he was putting people in the Nonary Games as receptors to his own experiment.
Huh? What?
What's up?
Junpei didn't know what to tell him.
Huh?
If he told them he heard a voice, they'd laugh or worse, think he's gone insane. So all he said was,
Oh, nothing.
Nothing. He cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There was a pair of small buttons protruding on either side of it. Junpei. He pressed the buttons. So, again, truth is right, gone is left, so it's right, left, right, left, right, left. See, and them seeing him doing this pretty much confirms that he is Zero to the eyes of Seven and Clover. I don't see any way you don't assume that. That was it. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. Which that sounds like the numbers that are right. Junpei checked one last time. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
And those numbers could not have been a path that you were supposed to follow through the doors. You don't get through the one door until way at the end of the game.
Huh?
Huh?
Hey, what the hell were those numbers?
Oh my gosh. Are those?
Huh.
So this is a cool idea, but this also is an idea that most players probably would just rage quit over and like never get. Because you really would have had to gotten that central path ending to get this far.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
And I can only assume that this is just going to be a really long story after this point.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
With trembling fingers, he punched him in. Okay. Press the enter button. And then it opens. There's a sound like a coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it. It would be strange if it's not Snake. Now, I don't even remember in this plot line if it was proven that Snake was still alive. I think it was. Otherwise, Clover would be a lot more sad in her depictions, I guess.
What? Why are you...
Oh? Is that you, Clover? I apologize for worrying you.
So, it is Snake again.
Snake! You? Why?
Junpei? And Seven? Is that you? Is everyone else there as well?
Just like Rip Van Winkle, still it's very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask. You don't even really spend a lot of time with Snake, and I still don't really get why Snake was freaking out every time I'd click on a light, if he doesn't know about secret passages. And it doesn't seem like there's any ending here that puts Snake as the bad guy or shows that he knows secret passages at all.
Jeez.
Junpei and Seven shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears.
You're back!
With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms.
Gently now. My body's still a little weak.
You're back!
So, is the true romance path, the true love path here, actually getting Snake and Clover back together? As brother and sister, with a slight hint that they might have a bit of an incestuous relationship. Clover looked like nothing so much as a lost child who had finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red and her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating.
You're back! You're really here!
Her voice was happy, but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tears after tremendous tears rolled down its way down her face. Now, I think in this story we have a little bit more time, but I'm not sure. We could really have only a couple more minutes before the ship starts to sink. So just a lot of description here, a lot of trying to describe joy, and of course in adventure mode this entire paragraph would not be said at all.
You're back!
Come now, what's gotten into you?
I'd kind of like to know what he whispered to Clover at the very beginning to convince her to go on a different path.
You're acting as though I've returned from the grave.
Not as though you did. I really thought you were dead.
Huh?
You jerk! Idiot!
Okay, so in Japanese that would have been baka baka baka. Again, we could cover how you say idiot or baka. It means a lot more than just saying the word. So you get that custom art. A touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven sat on one of the pews waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired. Hopefully we can skip through all that explanation, because while I wouldn't mind a small recap, I don't want to
I see.
be told.
I believe I understand things rather well now. Thank you.
I don't want to be told the entire course of events for this playthrough.
In the shower room, there is a dead body wearing my clothes. Because of that, you thought that I was dead, correct?
Yep. He quickly and neatly surmised the events of several hours.
Yeah. You also discovered a corpse in the captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here, in this room.
Yes, okay.
Do I have it straight?
Yes.
Well, the dead body in the captain's quarters is a surprise.
Sorry, there wasn't a good time to tell you.
Apparently they hadn't told Seven.
Don't worry about it.
Well then. I've got a pretty decent idea of what happened while I was indisposed, but it's still something of a mystery who did all this, and why.
Yes, good question.
The corpse in the shower room that looked like me.
Yes, good question.
And the corpse in the captain's quarters.
I guess if the idea was that the corpse in the shower room and the corpse in the quarters were also people who worked for Cradle Pharmaceuticals, that would be all 4 of the people that worked for Cradle Pharmaceuticals accounted for. Ace being the CEO, and the 9th man being one of the employees when you don't know which one. Yeah, that would kind of explain it.
Why were they killed in the way they were?
Who killed the corpse in the captain's quarters, though? I guess it would be Ace. And at that point, I guess maybe Ace also took the clue that would have opened the coffin in this path.
You don't know?
No. Why would I?
The guy in the shower room. We don't know who he is, so let's just call him Mr. X. Anyway, this Mr. X is wearing Snake's clothes. But you're wearing some kind of weird robes. That means someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X. We need to figure out who that was.
I apologize, but I have no idea who might have done this to me. I only just now woke up. I was unconscious during all the events you just described to me. They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
When were you knocked out?
When we split up to look for the red.
Where did they get you? Do you remember?
Good question.
It was a small room in one of the hallways on C deck.
What happened?
The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were abducted. A canister releasing some sort of gas was thrown into the room.
And that gas is probably the Cradle Pharmaceutical gas.
I believe the gas is some sort of incapacitating agent.
We really didn't need the story to kind of reveal that the gas was made by Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Then that means it was...
Zero.
Looks that way, huh?
There's nothing else I have to tell you. When I woke up, I was in this coffin.
Why?
Good question. But I think we kind of know the why. We just don't know the who.
Why did Zero make Mr. X wear Snake's clothes? How would that benefit Zero? I don't get it. What the hell does any of it mean?
Yeah, unless we get another flash, we're not going to get the answer to this question in this path.
And I have no idea how I got the passcode for the coffin either. Truth had gone, truth had gone, and truth had gone. Where did those words come from? Why did I feel compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them?
Seven had asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He had no answer for him then, and he still doesn't.
All I know is my fingers moved on their own. It was like I did it subconsciously. I don't get it. What the hell does any of it mean?
His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and mysteries. He could barely think.
Also, Snake and Clover had been subjects in a similar experiment 9 years ago.
Yeah, it still doesn't feel like we're really going to get answers.
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
Well, I've definitely been in danger, and I've finally got an epiphany.
And someone did actually die. A girl. Her name was...
There had been another experiment conducted on this same ship 9 years ago. And a girl had died during it.
Now, in this story path, we don't really get enough information for that girl to be revealed to be Santa's sister.
Morphogenetic field theory.
Getting a lot of background images.
The 2 murders. Switching clothes. The Nonary Game.
I kind of feel like we may have still just like failed here. And that would really stink if we were going to have to like play the game multiple times to get every little thing right. But as he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There's something that tied all of them together. And the point connecting the dots? Zero.
He's the ringleader. The person who trapped 9 of us on this sinking ship.
Yes.
Zero should know everything.
So if they caught Zero and made him talk, that'd be great. But if they do that, then there's no sequel to this game, really.
If we can uncover Zero's identity, all of our questions will be answered.
Since we've kind of eliminated everybody, or we've sort of eliminated everybody we know, it kind of does then feel like Zero has to be the girl who died, not really having died, or just one of the kids that were kidnapped, or just somebody that they've just not seen at all. Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginnings of a theory, if he can only test it, or perhaps.
At any rate, we'll have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape.
Yeah, you should have said that about 10 minutes ago.
Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes? That means we have less than an hour. We must hurry.
Hey, how are we gonna get out of here?
Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door.
Oh yeah, you're right. With Snake, we can open the door.
Don't tell me you hadn't figured that out.
As they sniped back and forth, Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He's wearing a bracelet with a 2 on it.
Come on, you gotta tell me these things.
I, assumed you'd figured it out.
Forget it. Let's just get going.
7 stomped off towards the small number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. 7 quickly laid his hand on the red card, and asterisk appeared on the screen. The others followed suit. Soon there were 4 asterisks on the screen. 7 glanced at them, then laid his hand on the lever of the red.
Alright, you guys ready to go?
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, we're doing the same thing over and over again.
Not yet.
Interesting.
Huh?
Before we go in, I'd like to check something.
Okay.
You want to check something?
What does Junpei want to check?
Yeah, but before I do, 7, could you pull the lever?
This is weird.
I want to make sure we can verify with just the 4 of us.
What do you mean? We don't need...
Just do it, alright?
Is the reveal here that the number 4 on Snake's wrist doesn't, the number 2 on Snake's wrist doesn't actually work?
But if the door opens, don't go in yet, okay? Please, this is really important.
Okay.
I really need to check this, okay? Work with me here.
Junpei looked directly into 7's eyes. The older man looked back for a moment, then nodded.
9.
So that opens and you can see a door on the other side, which is weird because you usually see darkness. Then they waited. 6, 7, 8, 9. It closes. After 9 seconds, the door closed.
Alright, that means the 4 of us can go into door 9.
So, we knew that already. It's obvious.
Obvious. Yeah, you're right. It is. Now, what happens if we add Zero's bracelet?
What?
Zero's bracelet?
Nobody collected Zero's bracelet except for Clover, and I don't think Clover told him about that.
Why don't you take it out, Clover?
So he is getting just more and more epiphanies as this goes. For a moment, Clover looked surprised, but she recovered quickly and stuck her tongue out at Junpei.
So you did know I had it.
Odd blushing animation of Clover, and I don't think this animation is used much, if at all.
I picked it up because I thought it might be useful sometime.
She reached into one of the pockets of her voluminous jacket and produced a bracelet. Junpei took it from her and turned to 7.
This was on the left hand of the corpse in the captain's quarters. If you look at it, you can see it's got a 0 on the face. Just to make this a little easier to talk about, I'm going to call the guy we found dead in the captain's quarters, Cap.
Okay.
Then I should be able to open door 9 with just me, Clover, and his bracelet. Though the big question is, if Cap is the mastermind of this game, would he really put one of these bracelets on?
I mean, it really wouldn't hurt Zero to have a bracelet on if he didn't have a bomb in his stomach in the first place.
Anyway, let's just give it a shot. Clover, give me your hand.
Okay.
Now the captain's bracelet. And pull the lever.
The door didn't open. Red error.
Now, what does this tell us?
Maybe the bracelet has to be on your wrist in order for it to work?
No, that's impossible. Did you see how the panel showed a 3rd asterisk when I scanned Cap's bracelet? Whether or not it's on your wrist doesn't matter. All you have to do is put the bracelet near the panel for it to register.
Really late for that to be revealed.
Looks like you're right.
See? So what does that mean?
But it seems like they're going to have to go through the whole combination again to figure out it's the
only
number
one
6.
possibility. That bracelet isn't the number 0. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Then what number is it?
Let's find out.
Scan the bracelets with this combination. Okay, so now we have to figure out the combination that would work. Since we know it's a 6, let's try and get it on the first try. So Snake and Junpei would be 9. So no, it would be 7, which would be 13, which would be 4. That wouldn't work. Snake and Clover would be 6 plus 6, which would be 12, so that wouldn't work. 7 in Junpei and Cap would be 11 plus 7, so I think this is right. Like 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 6 would be 18. Yeah, this is the right one.
Let's try 7, me, and Cap.
And we'll just skip all of that. Skip wasting time.
If this combination opens the door, then Cap's bracelet is number 6.
If it turns out it's not number 6, that'd be surprising.
Hey, it opened! The door opened!
What? Why? What does that mean?
Why is 0 number 6? What does it mean? Yeah, they really don't give you enough hints to make that final leap in judgment, and the story just has to tell you straight out. Where I'd prefer the mysteries to be completely solvable. I'd really like to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of this story, and I never really am. Junpei raised his eyebrow.
Isn't it obvious? Cap's bracelet is number 6.
But doesn't it say 0?
This isn't a 0.
It's not a 0? Then what is it?
The symbol on here isn't a number 0.
It's the letter O?
It's a letter O.
As in what? A, B, C, D, E, F. F would be the 6th letter. Like F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. O is like the 15th number, which would be like F in hexadecimal.
Oh.
Doesn't make
Whoa,
sense.
Wait a minute. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I mean, we figured out that Cap's bracelet is 6, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean there are 2 people with 6s?
Before Junpei could answer, Snake spoke up.
There is most likely only one person with a 6.
But I don't get it. What about June?
Well, this is only an educated guess, but I think June's number was never 6 to begin with.
Then what number is hers?
Her bracelet
Is a 9. And it's upside down? How could somebody put it so upside down, though?
was flipped. In other words,
She could have gone through any door at any point because she's 0.
June's real number is
9.
That seems the most likely.
Does that really work for all the combinations and all the doors she went through, though? I don't think it really would have been.
Then all this numbered door stuff was just a load of crap?
Kind of feels like it.
Why would you say that?
Because if June is 9, then the numbers wouldn't match up.
Clover grabbed Junpei's notebook and began to write furiously. This is the 3rd time she's borrowed Junpei's notebook, even though she has one of her own.
Here, look.
And now she's writing something down that she can't show to her blind brother.
List of all the numbered doors June's gone through.
I'll let you know what I'm writing, okay, Snake?
Okay, at least they addressed that. So, she went through door number 4, which would have been 6 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 for 22 for a digital root of 4. Or if it was 9, then it would have been 9 plus 3 for 12 plus 5 for 17, which would be 25. And then that would be 7. So, yeah. 9 plus 3 plus 8 for door 8 would not have worked either.
And that's everything. I wrote down which door she went into and with whom. And I wrote what all the numbers were. So if you switch 9 and wherever there's a 6, the numbers don't work.
Okay.
If the digital root is 7, then you can't open door 4.
So now we're looking at the versions of the math with 9. So you didn't have to do any of the math. I kind of wish the game would just have really told you didn't have to do the math. It's really ridiculous for it to throw in a calculator function that can do digital roots and all of this, and then it's just never actually used in the game. And unnecessary.
If the digital root is 2, then you can't open door 8.
And I really think the digital root concept is overused in this game way too much.
Clover, do you notice anything interesting on that list?
Let's see. What do you notice interesting on the list? What if it was like a -9? Would that change anything? No, not really.
What do you mean?
You're talking about 3, right?
Number 3, as in, well, Snake can't see the line, so how would he know the 3 door? Or the 3rd door?
3?
Yeah, Santa went with June in every single door.
Santa's always in the room with her. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
What about it?
That's quite simple, really. You told me that the first time you came to this room,
Yes.
Santa was the first to refuse to leave June behind.
Why?
Now, doesn't that beg the question why? Why would Santa do such a thing?
It is very questionable. Yes.
The answer is easy.
Not that easy. I think this game has melted my brain at this point.
Because Santa can't open door 9 with only 7 in Lotus.
7 in Lotus would be 15 plus 3 would be 18, would be 9. So what's wrong with Santa's bracelet? Is Santa not a 3 but the letter E? Which would be like a 4? Or 14 or 13?
Of course, there's only one reason for that. His number isn't actually 3.
Interesting. Well, how many people's bracelets aren't actually numbers? Is the number 1 actually an I? Is number 2 actually a 5 upside down? Have they been completely wrong about all of it? Is it maybe a backwards S? Is 4 really an H? Is 5 really an S? This gets really complicated at that point. Is 7 really just an L? Is 6 really a 6, or is it a G, or is it a 9? 8, I guess, has to be the number 8, or the infinity symbol. Yeah.
Santa's real number? 7? Would you be so kind as to modify my sister's equations?
Yeah, sure.
7 took the pin from a confused Clover and began adjusting her calculations.
This is what you were getting at, right, Snake?
E actually is a number. The letter E. It's like a mathematical constant, but it's not something most people would use or know about. So you read the changes he made out to finish it. So 9 plus 0, as I guess maybe E means empty, plus 5 plus 8 would be 22. So Santa is 0. It makes sense. I mean, he's the best person to think who would be zero of the group at this point. Everybody else, except for Junpei and June, are clearly victims of Cradle Pharmaceuticals in the previous Nonary game.
Thank you. That is exactly right, Seven. Santa's true number wasn't 3. It was 0.
No way.
This still doesn't really line up, because what this means, I guess, is that June was actually 9, the 9th man was actually 6, Santa is 0, but then there is no number 3, because the 0 is number 6 again. Yeah, it still doesn't really add up.
Santa is 0?
And June was 9, not 6. Conversely, Santa was 0, not 3.
Well, then who was 3?
Plus 3 and minus 3, they cancel one another out. Nothing appears out of order.
Santa was still playing by the rules of the Nonary game this whole time.
Precisely.
So you're saying Santa planned this whole thing?
At this point, it feels like the writer really just wanted this one line of dialogue. Santa is the bad guy who planned out this jigsaw murder trap.
I'm not sure if he acted alone or not. But I think it is safe to conclude that he is 0. If my hypothesis is correct.
They're wasting a lot of time when they should just be going through the door. Junpei remains silent in thought.
Snake's hypothesis. Something doesn't seem right.
Yeah, something doesn't seem right.
June's bracelet being flipped.
Yeah.
Even if that were possible, that would mean there are 2 number 9 bracelets.
Yeah.
And if that's the case...
All right, that's enough talking.
If there were 2 number 9 bracelets, does that mean that there would have been a way to... Would that have changed the calculations? Because up until this point in this room, the numbers had to have been 9 and 9 for 2 groups. With all those changes, I don't know if you can make 2 groups of 9 and 9. If everybody had survived.
Let's go. It's high time we went through that door.
I guess maybe the idea is that the body in the shower was number 3. I guess that could have been it. That the guy behind the 3 door had a number 3 bracelet. Yeah, this really is just continuously going longer and longer.
Oh.
No tricks, both doors seem to work. We kind of already knew that.
All right, let's keep going.
And then just a lot of running down empty hallways
Think
for no
these
reason.
stairs go to the bottom deck.
So they run across some stairs to the bottom deck. So one path has an elevator that goes up, and one path has a path going down. I leaned out and looked over the side.
Let's head down.
I thought they were already on the bottom deck. Let's see. Let's... Yeah, E deck had the chapel in it. And I guess I just don't have a map for the bottom deck.
Hey, it's a...
There's a symbol engraved in it. We don't have that key.
This is the Neptune symbol. There must be a key around here somewhere.
Seriously, are we gonna end up doing another escape the room puzzle? Oh my goodness. Look at all this. Look at all this that just unlocked. There's way more game. Either that or now that we've gotten to this point, we have to really pull something off.
Neptune key.
Wow.
I have the Uranus key card.
Just keeps on going and going.
It's a different planet. Plus, it's the wrong kind of key.
Let's turn around and go back for now.
Yeah. Hey, another door.
Found the metal door.
And a card reader this time.
And another symbol.
It's the Uranus symbol.
So that'll work.
This is the place.
So the card through the reader. So why would I only have that one key, though? Yeah. See, when you look here, this almost seems like it's just teasing you. Like, how could I go through this and end up on that path and end up with different keys? Unless I just collect a whole bunch of keys. Or unless I need to go and get these bad endings a second time, because that's going to give me some other key to unlock something else. Either that or the story is just going to go on forever and forever. So they're in the room where the Egyptian priestess was supposed to be. Behind this.
It's totally full of books.
Alice was her name.
There's so many. I don't know where to look.
I don't get the idea of Alice jumping into the story at this point and not solving anything or even integrating into the story we've been told so far.
Alright, if we want to get through that door out there, we need the Neptune key. I say we split up and look for it.
Okay.
Very well.
Sure thing.
Good. Let's get started then. We don't have a lot of time. Hurry.
The symbol on Snake's outfit might mean there is a key on him. Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge. As he began searching for reasons he didn't fully understand, Junpei felt those particular words float to his mind. Seek a way out. And we're in the library. Yeah. We've got like different music. Lights to the books. What does that mean? Interesting. Well, intelligence often hides itself in darkness. If you ever thought about the pages of a book, each page only sees what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of light before the reader is on to the next. They spend the rest of their lives locked in darkness. Okay, so, rather like myself, he really is blind. So I really don't want to read all of this out, but this is new stuff. I was not expecting new stuff. I thought they were just going to kind of wrap things up. So, So I think what we need to do is probably probably need to light up the books to make them unlock. Let's see. Let's go down here. We have, let's see, LE. What is this? Leibniz. The book is in German. It looks like it's the complete works of something. I've never heard of it. Well, Snake doesn't know what it is. I don't think we'll ever know. Owen. So here we've got small enclosure with 9 sides. There are 3 of these things that look like music stands. I suppose we're supposed to put something on these stands. So this opens up the elevator. The secret thing, I guess. Bookshelf has a solid glass inlay. It's pretty big, but there's 6 books on it. They seem kind of weird. Hey, it looks like there's something on the bottom. I can't really see through it. The glass is all foggy. So we need a code. Something about the suspicious shelf on the left. Prime number theory. If there was a book named Algebraic Number Theory, I took a wild guess and said that the 3 others would be there as well. Looks like I was right. So, am I gonna waste time? Just looking at all these mathematical books. None of the other escape rooms really seem like they have done this. Had a timer. And Clover is super happy-go-lucky now that Snake's back to being alive. So it does just kind of feel like what's going on here is the writer of the story are really just highlighting a bunch of books that they really love, and I imagine that the author of this visual novel probably really does love books. So we have a picture book, Tales of Old Japan. It's got a magic wand on it. Open it. And we have in here kind of more of a puzzle than I was expecting. But that's not enough numbers. SE51 based on some colors. So I think we could probably assume that one of these goes here. So we need 3 picture books before they'll let me do that. Bunch of books on folklore and myth. Alright. So we'll just have to click on everything. We're just skipping through a lot of this. So now we found another pop-up book. Okay. We might as well click on everything while we're here. Even though it is just going to be more and more dialogue. Way too much dialogue. It almost feels like this is a DLC section that's just been added to the game. And boy, do I not believe in the idea of a visual novel having DLC. This just really feels tacked on. I cannot subscribe to it. So, Earl. Let's see. If you spelled this right, it would spell the word open. And then if you did that, it would be here. And then, let's see, the third one would probably be find. And then bulb. So we'll just really quickly solve that. A very slow movements. How about this? So we now get a light bulb. We didn't even know we needed a light bulb, but okay. So now we have a powerful light bulb. The pixels and polygons here are not very good, but for a Nintendo DS game, I'm not super surprised about that. We're just gonna keep on trying to click on things while skipping over the actual dialogue. If this was all voiced, some of it would make sense. But you really have enough room here for these kinds of books to have been found throughout the entirety of the game. And then you could have spread this around and had an entire like secondary Nonary game. Because there really doesn't make a lot of sense to have all of this in one room. This is like the engine room. It's just a really big puzzle room with 2 or 3 things going on, when it would make more sense if there was just one thing going on. Yeah, if you were finding books like this all over the place throughout the game, then you would have been able to have so many little hints and so many better story themes to play with. Alright, so do we have now the books that we can place here? This is a little weird. I can't really read it. The light bulbs, they aren't very bright though. Didn't we find some really powerful light bulb earlier? Why don't you put it into one of those lights? Yeah, we'll get a lot brighter. But if there are 3 lights, that means 3 light bulbs. There won't be much point unless we can replace all 3. We need 3 light bulbs, huh? Okay, game. Is that how you want to play this? So. Sheldrake. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything else that you can do. Okay. and this goes 7788. So if you were trying to go by colors here, I don't get it. If you're trying to get a number combination for this puzzle, I don't get it. Six, 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. All right, we'll try that. Let's see. Let's see. 6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. 6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. 6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. 6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. 6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. 6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. 6, 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. Okay, well, I got that a little backwards. So yeah, you have this like stupidly easy puzzle, and then via that stupidly easy puzzle we get another light bulb. So there's got to be another light bulb somewhere around here. Teleportation and telepathy. Well, I know what telepathy is, but I've never heard of teleportation. Refers to having the ability to travel through time. I'm not really reading any of this still. It's just way too much text. And it's just so daunting when you see all these other sections. It's like, how can you even begin to start to think about reading all of this after the many hours of gameplay? And sure, I'm a little slow, but I'm not this slow. This is the experience I think that most people wanted us to that the creators really wanted us to have, a really slow visual novel experience. And I pretty much have to admit that it has dissuaded me completely from wanting to play too many more visual novels in my lifetime. It's just so slow. So it worked. And so the Sheldrake 5 now. So Sheldrake number 5. Am I supposed to hit Sheldrake 5 times? Or am I supposed to look in here first?
Sheldrake 5?
Yeah, I'm supposed to look here first and get the audio.
I think I saw the rest of this collection somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here.
Let's go take a look.
Okay.
Ton of red herring
Sheldrake.
books.
Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean.
They didn't talk about what Sheldrake had written, so this might be an interesting revelation. I don't know what he wrote either. The name sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, Lotus told me about him.
Did Lotus tell you? When?
There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather interesting theory.
Oh. Well, it has been probably about 10 hours since we had this scene. So, no surprise that I'd forgotten it.
Morphogenetic fields, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance.
And they really are going to bend over backwards to make every single red herring merge together and mean something.
Really? From Lotus, huh?
Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff.
She did?
Yeah, what was it?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things.
See, it kind of feels like, if I was to guess, we might have to go through each of these sections to use a morphogenetic field to send back the right information to make sure that we actually can escape the game correctly. That it will be kind of like the snake eating its own tail.
The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
That girl. I told her not to tell anyone.
You did? Why?
Well,
look, man, I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay?
tell you what?
Don't give me that. About the experiment.
Ugh. Very well, fine. I'll tell you everything.
I hope that's true.
But not here. Let's move to the top floor. I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet, and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had little choice. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on a card.
That's a Braille card. It looks just like the one you showed us earlier. So you had 2 cards.
No, only...
Huh? What do you mean?
He simply didn't translate it correctly and nobody questioned him.
I thought that card just had some rules for the Nonary Game on it.
Yes, it did. And those were the rules I read you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say there was something I couldn't read.
And that was?
Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell, and I activate your sister's detonator. It's a threat on our lives.
Oh.
Well, if Clover blows up now, then that would really suck.
Well, what about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too?
I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you as strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers?
Is this gonna suddenly turn out that Clover is Zero?
Yeah.
To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl.
What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activate her detonator thing was just a bluff. She's prancing around downstairs happy as a clam now that you're back.
That's very true. I've decided I can trust you. I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa is Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment.
I guess I can follow that logic.
And at any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us.
Why?
Clover told me about the 4-leaf clover, about the words.
Yes.
If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it. He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Hey, Snake?
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment?
Yep, they feel like they're gonna just lay out everything that happened, but it feels like it's gonna take another hour and a half.
Yeah.
How much do you know?
Clover told me about...
So we
I
can
see.
skip some stuff there, thank goodness.
The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior. How the experiments had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment. She told you all that, did she? At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine...
Yeah, we're back in adventure screen instead of novel screen.
Is who did this and why, right?
Oops.
Yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes. The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Let's just go into auto mode for a while. I'm tired of hitting the A button. But then it
There
just
were 4 of
pauses.
them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Teruaki Kubota, Kagachika Musashido.
I don't think...
Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
I guess they all were guys.
Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the lion's share of the
I
plan.
didn't see anyone like that. That could have been Mr. X.
Kubota led the company's research and development division.
That's the 9th man, clearly.
Musashido was their majority stockholder.
That fat guy, haven't seen anybody like him.
It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment.
So these other 2 characters on the right probably
Let me
show up
simplify it for you.
later in the
Hongo
game
designed it, and Nijisaki put it all together.
or in the sequel.
Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashido provided the cash.
Huh, so it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashido.
I guess I was wrong that one of those names sounded feminine.
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale.
No duh.
To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so.
The question is how would
Those
Snake
10
know
completed their
these
team,
things?
and they were able to begin the project.
Like he kind of knows a
They
little
named
too
it
much.
The Nonary Project. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field.
Huh.
Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change?
I'd forgotten that
Why
story.
did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation?
That story wasn't told in this playthrough.
Experiments with humans produce the same results.
Yeah,
The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before.
this is kind of ridiculous. The reality just keeps on changing. And either it's just terrible game design and writing, or it's supposed to
The
be
answer is
really
that the
obvious.
shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea.
Very
behind
late in the
morphogenetic
game to
fields.
throw out the resonant event keyword.
But that's just a theory.
Can't bring yourself to believe it?
Yeah.
Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it.
Okay.
Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial.
So what matters here is that Hongo believed in the morphogenetic field.
That's right.
But I still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people.
right?
even
That is what you were saying.
at this rate, it does seem like you would only be able to control
So how are they going to do that with
a
morphogenetic
small
field?
number of people for a small amount of
I'll keep it
time.
simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem.
Okay.
The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now. Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding. Mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event.
I'm not buying this one bit.
All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far?
What were they really going to do with that, though?
Yeah.
Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen?
I guess you could tell that one person to...
If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do?
Come on, there's no way.
I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand.
Okay.
What if there was someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that and use it to make other people do handstands?
So this could affect, like,
What
politics
would happen
and
then?
voting.
A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver.
Kind of the problem with this idea is that the person who would be the transmitter
What
would
would the world be like
sleep.
if there were people with abilities
And it would
like these?
make everybody else want to sleep at the same time, or for the full,
So the
for even
transmitter's
longer.
resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver.
Yeah. I think it would just make everybody
And then the transmitter
lethargic
can
and
control the receiver however they wish.
uncreative because they wouldn't be doing anything unique or new.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes. Close enough, at least.
Come on, that's just crazy.
Well,
It
if you
does
want to
sound
prove it,
crazy.
then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment.
We still are in this box that just isn't revealed as being an escape room even, which seems really silly to not reveal it as an escape room.
That was how the Nonary project began.
Snake suddenly looked very serious.
By the way, Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfeld experiment?
Have I heard of the Gansfeld experiment in this timeline? Yeah, I think Lotus told it to me at the beginning.
Yeah, that was an experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms.
Or was that told to me in the path on the right by Lotus or Seven?
Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct.
So, why did you bring up the Gansfeld experiment?
It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, Seven told that to me. Like, I only heard about the Gansfeld experiment on the far right path when Seven told it to me. The Gansfeld experiment was never mentioned on the path we've taken. And it just keeps on happening like that. Reality just keeps on changing. This is happening too often for this just to be bad writing or a mistake.
Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children.
Let's go back to auto mode. We'll go a little late, but there's probably no chance we're going to finish today.
He began to gather children that showed promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field.
If anything, it kind of feels like this should have been the beginning of the game.
Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped.
Doing kind of like a flash forward
there were 9 pairs
idea.
Of siblings taken, for 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had 1 transmitter and 1 receiver.
So who would have been the transmitter and the receiver?
They were split perfectly.
As far as
such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were put into Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting.
So was that Clover or
To
Snake?
the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert.
So Clover's a transmitter.
The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A.
And Snake would be a receiver.
Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic.
Does that affect the story any or help us in any way?
From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the fields. The first is epiphany. The other is danger. Have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem and thought about it very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind?
Well, yeah.
It may seem obvious to say so, but that is what is meant by epiphany. The information obtained through that epiphany can be easily transmitted through the fields, where it can be easily interpreted. Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access.
So who was the receiver and transmitter between Junpei and June?
That's where Hongo came in.
If that's the idea.
They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each one before they could move to the next room.
Did they have any digital root doors and
Of course,
bracelets?
He hadn't forgotten to include danger. He had detonated a bomb on the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the Nonary Game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields. The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q.
What were they doing?
Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly.
Okay.
Every detail was exactly the same.
So then how did only one
Hongo
person
explained the
die?
situation to the children in Group Q.
Why wouldn't it would have been 2 people that have
Solve
died?
the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed, they will be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the Gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely?
Throwing in yet another red herring part.
It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instruments, everything. All
This
of
is
it
just
identical.
getting exhausting to say the same thing twice.
Everything was just like the real Apollo 13. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with.
Why did they pay an artist to draw this
Once they found solutions,
background
they reported their findings to the men
that
aboard
will
the
only be
actual
used
capsule.
once? That's a good question.
That was how they were able to return safely.
Just another
It was
side
the same
story.
with the gigantic and building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found.
The problem with this idea, let's just look here for a second, is if we went through one room and then June went through the other path, there really weren't similar puzzles in those areas. So if the idea would be that June and Junpei are both one transmitter and one receiver, they're not in identical situations, so that really wouldn't work. The only thing that would make sense is more the clone idea, that each ending we've seen up to this point has been a clone of somebody running through a mock-up clone of the gigantic ship, and that they've been solving puzzles and sending it back to this Junpei that we're playing as now.
And transmit what they learned through the fields.
I'm gonna get back to pushing buttons because it at least
Children
lets
in
me
Group
do
A,
something.
however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
Why did none of these kids never tell the police or their parents about this?
Huh.
Hey, Junpei, Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony asses? Get down here already!
So, I'm so glad that wrapped up, because that was going really
He's right.
long. Seems like it just keeps going longer and longer
Let's
and
go, shall
longer.
we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here, and soon.
This is really driving me crazy.
Hold it. There's one more thing I want to ask you.
One last thing, and then I think that'll be it for this recording.
Are you sure that there were 18 kids?
Yeah. If there were 18 kids and one died, why did the other not die?
Why?
Well, I thought it was only 16.
Yeah. On the other pass, on the newspaper, it was 16 kids that were kidnapped. So were June and Junpei kidnapped, and they made up this false memory that they were guarding the rabbit hutch when they were really in the Nonary game.
Oh, yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes. I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play a Nonary game with any less, could you?
Well, yeah, but are you saying that the news got it wrong?
Yes, I am. There were 2 more children.
Okay.
However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister, like Clover and I.
Okay.
The brother's name was Aoi.
So it was the brother Aoi that died. I again thought that was a female name.
The sister's name was...
If this is Akane.
Her name was... Her name was Akane.
So the brother died, and we now know that Akane, June, is 0, pretty much.
That was the girl who died.
Okay. This is as good of a place as any, I guess, to end this recording. We've gone another 2 hours nearly. And we still don't have that ending. And we still have a lot to do. Well, man, boy, does this game just continue to find more things to do and more things to say. Yeah, I couldn't help but prefer if this game was broken up into 2 or 3 games, shorter, perhaps even episodic would work, because this is just getting crazy long. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.